I'm a big fan of trying new things, and as a guitar player, I like it when companies, when manufacturers and designers reach out and try new things, new guitar shapes, new pedals, new amps, new ways of doing old things. I like it. I like the innovation. I like it when a gear company pushes to do something that hasn't been done before or to do something old in a new way. It doesn't always work out, but when it does, it really, really works. In fact, some of the coolest and most iconic pieces of musical equipment that have been made over the years have come from that sense of experimentation and trying something new. And I think that's what Strymon was going for with the NightSky, and I appreciate that. But I have to admit, I'm somewhat torn on this pedal. In fact, I haven't been this on the fence about a piece of gear in a really long time. I genuinely don't know how I feel about it. It's really cool in some aspects. In some aspects, I don't really get it. But in today's episode of Gear Talk, we're going to take a look at the NightSky in depth, talk about the good stuff, the bad stuff, and try and answer the question of who this pedal's actually for. Now, before we get started, a quick word. Strymon did send me this pedal for free, but they're not paying for or sponsoring this video in any other way. Every opinion, every word in this video is my own. So, this is the NightSky. Came out about a week and a half ago, and Strymon is calling this a time-warped reverberator. And I think that's actually a pretty fair description. This is unlike any other reverb pedal or plugin or piece of gear I've ever used, and I've actually been able to get reverb sounds out of this that I've never been able to get using any other piece of gear. Now, I'm not going to go super in-depth into all of the different features and sounds. There's plenty of other videos online at this point that will do that for you. But there are a few things that I think you need to know about that make this pedal different than a lot of the other reverb pedals out there. Now, on the front panel, you have some pretty familiar controls that you're used to seeing on other reverb pedals from different manufacturers. But if you look a little closer, you can tell that there's a few things on here that you're not used to seeing. Things like this modulation section, which essentially has an LFO where you can target different parts of the reverb with different waveforms or make it an envelope filter. The size and pitch knob with the quantize control. This lets you change the size and pitch of the reverb either gradually through the throw of the potentiometer here or by half step or along a certain scale, which you can choose through these 8 buttons down here. Then you've got some more common controls like shimmer, what interval you want the shimmer to come through. But if you look down here, those blinking lights on the bottom row, that is the sequence feature, and that's sort of the party trick of this pedal. It's what makes this quite a bit different than anything else out there on the market. Now, the NightSky is not just a bunch of weird experimental sounds. It's actually capable of some pretty straight ahead, beautiful ambient reverbs. Now, I'm playing my Helix through one of my new stereo presets. I'm going stereo out of the Helix into the NightSky and stereo out of the NightSky into Luna. If you want to download those Helix presets, they're in the description box down below, but this is what it sounds like without the NightSky on. And this is actually one of the stock presets that comes with the NightSky, and I think it's a great long ambient reverb. Pretty straight ahead, but it's actually easy to make it pretty unique. Now that's a sound, for example, that I can't get out of a Big Sky or Ventress or any other reverb pedal or algorithm that I've used anywhere else. And that's what's cool about the NightSky, is if you're into that more experimental sound design, sort of sound crafting kind of thing, this pedal makes it really easy to get those sounds quickly. And one of the other things I actually really like about this pedal is you can do things like create an envelope to affect just the reverb trail. This is another one of the stock presets that takes advantage of that. And listen to what happens when I stop playing. Overall, I think I would describe the NightSky as what I call a character effect. It's something that you don't use all the time, but because it's so unique and has its own sort of unique signature, it's really cool to be able to use on a song or specific part or any other instrument. In fact, that's what I think is unique about the NightSky is I actually don't know that it was completely designed specifically for guitar players. Obviously, a huge part of Strymon's market are guitar players, but with things like the Magneto, you can tell that they're starting to venture outside of the guitar market and getting more into like the synth realm and the keyboard player realm, creating things that make sounds and affect sounds in cool ways. This is another stock preset here. This is probably my favorite one, actually, and you might be able to tell why. So now the Infinite is holding that last chord that I played, and you can start to layer stuff on top of it. So I think Strymon did something really cool here. The NightSky is unique, it sounds really good, it's got a unique feature set. So why am I on the fence? This is something I've actually been thinking about pretty heavily for the past couple of days. What is it about this pedal that's just not connecting with me? When I do these videos, these gear talk videos, I always try and approach whatever piece of gear I'm talking about from the perspective of a working guitar player, because that's my perspective. I develop these videos with the same thought processes and questions that I have for myself whenever I'm thinking about buying a piece of gear. And for me, in the situations that I play in, the bands that I play in, the sessions that I do, the gigs that I do, the NightSky actually isn't all that usable. These reverb sounds are amazing when you're playing in a room by yourself and you're writing for something using those reverb sounds. But in the context of at least the gigs that I play and the artists that I play with, they're a little overkill. In fact, I actually had some difficulty producing the track at the top of this video. I wanted to show the pedal's characteristics and some different sounds that it was capable of, but it was really hard to come up with different parts with different reverb sounds without it being just a big washy mess. In the real world, outside of a YouTube video dedicated to a specific pedal, I would probably only use that pedal on one part or one sound on an entire song because it is so big and flourishing. To me, in my situation, it's actually not all that usable in an everyday context. And I think that's something you have to keep in mind here whenever you're considering a piece of gear like this, which is a significant investment. Are you willing to drop the money on something like a NightSky, which is arguably a pretty niche effect? Now, I don't mean to be too hard on the NightSky. I do genuinely like it, and it is pretty usable. In fact, last night I came across a YouTube video by a channel named Cyber Attack that just went up a few days ago, and the guy who created this video was able to create some incredibly cool reverb sounds with the NightSky that I wouldn't have done on my own. He has some gated reverb, he uses it as a flanger, some ducking reverbs that you can use to solo with. In fact, I highly recommend you check out his video if you're interested in the NightSky. You can check it out here or in the description box down below. It's incredibly well produced, and the sounds this guy got are incredible. Plus, I mean, like, look at it. So all in all, who's the NightSky for? Well, if you're a guitar player, someone who likes to plug straight into an amp, or you have a small pedal board, you like just a couple of basic effects, this pedal's not for you. I would say look at a whole host of other reverb pedals for your setup before you get to the NightSky. I really don't think Strymon designed the NightSky with its feature set and its sound with the more simple player in mind. I think it's for someone who likes to explore, someone who likes to experiment, someone who likes to create new sounds, unique sounds. I also think it's great for keys. In fact, I'm kicking around the idea of building a modular synth myself, and I think it would kill in a modular setup. I'd actually love to see what Andrew Huang would do with one of these. If you're a film scorer, if you're someone that likes to create music and textures and sounds and sort of landscapes, if you will, I think the NightSky is an amazing option for that. It could go from instrument to line in, so you can send a line in signal from your DAW and send sound effects through it, or drums through it, or vocals, or whatever you want. It'll handle it. For me, it's going to be something that probably doesn't live on a pedal board, but stays out and floats around the studio. It'll be that one really cool tool to have around when you need that crazy reverb sound. And I'm actually really thankful to have it for that reason. But for my everyday use, I'll rely on some of the other reverbs that I've been using for years. So I want to hear your thoughts on the NightSky. Let me know in the comments section down below. Are you interested in one? Do you have one? How do you feel about it? If you're interested in the Helix presets that I used in this episode, those are linked in the description box down below, as well as my Kemper Profiles, my tone course, and the green room. If you want to support the channel, you can check out the links down there. You can also find links to the NightSky and the other gear that I used in today's video. Those will be affiliate links, so if you buy something through those links, I'll earn a small commission, which really helps me out in making these videos. I've actually had a lot of fun with this pedal over on Instagram in the past week, so be sure to follow me over there at Rhett Shull. And I've got 2 new podcasts out. Backstage Journal Season 2 is happening, and me and Zach Broyles from AxeFx just launched the Dipped in Tone podcast, which has its own YouTube channel. You can check that out down below as well. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Rhett Shull, and I'll catch you on the next one.